Hey guys, what's up? Josh here. So let me know if this sounds familiar. You've been told to set goals, and you may have heard from some productivity gurus that having goals is a great motivator to do hard things. Some of those gurus have even told you to dream extra big, to hustle, to ignore the idea of being realistic because big goals, huge goals help you accomplish bigger things. Yeah, I've read those books too. And more often than not, those big goals set me up for disappointment. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that you shouldn't dream big and that you shouldn't have goals, but in this video, I'm going to recommend that you change how you dream. So, setting goals is a super tricky business, and there are a few arguments for setting unrealistic goals that it's really worth exploring. So, that's what I'm going to do in this video. So the first argument is the fuel argument. So unrealistic goals or moonshots supposedly set you up for more success than their more down-to-earth counterparts. Because one, they motivate you, and two, if you try and fail, you usually still succeed higher than other people. And we've all seen evidence of this type of success. We have mega successful billionaires that have hit it huge with moonshot goals, right? But for the rest of us mere mortals, moonshots can actually sometimes lead to a sense of intimidation, which then leads to procrastination, which eventually leads to failure, and that gets followed shortly by depression. Fuck, that got really dark really fast. And I was supposed to be exploring the perks of unrealistic goals, right? Okay, let's bring it back then. Another perk is supposed to be the lack of competition at the extremes. Sometimes a huge goal is easier to achieve than a middling realistic goal just because nobody else is operating in that same space. Now, I'll be honest, there's actually real value in this advice. Like, I have some networking goals that seemed really unrealistic to me at times, but I've managed to reach a few of my mega successful heroes in the process of going after those goals. But I'll talk about that some other time. But all right, so working where there's less competition though, that's the idea. But does that mean you have to have huge unrealistic goals? I mean, I don't think so. It just means that you need to find places where there isn't a whole lot of overcrowding and then play there a lot. Setting huge goals has nothing to do with it. And especially as an artist, this is where I have a problem, because most huge goals focus on the finish line or getting the thing or not getting the thing. And we're creatives. We're in a creative field, which means there is no finish line. So we're always gonna be one step behind our goals if we start thinking that way. And on top of that, the unpredictability of artistic or creative growth is another pain in the ass that makes it really difficult to set goals for our art careers. So I'm really sorry to be the one to have to tell you this, but you're not going to grow at the rate you expect. It's not always a bad thing. Sometimes your growth is going to happen crazy fast, and other times you're going to be stuck on a plateau wondering when you're going to stop hating your work. Sometimes you'll actually backslide with your skills, and that fucking sucks. It hurts. But that makes this goal setting with an end result incredibly difficult for artists. So what do I recommend? Well, I recommend changing the way you think. Don't think about what you want to get out of your career. Don't think about the shiny trinkets and the art god skills that you want to develop. Don't think about the AAA studio you want to work for. Nah, forget all of that as much as you can, unless those goals help you do or be something that you'd be happy with. Because setting goals doesn't change your future. The future doesn't exist. Setting goals doesn't guarantee a future either. My failed goals are a great example of that. What goals do is it changes your trajectory by changing what you do today. Let that sink in for a minute. Setting a goal or an objective changes what you do today. What you do today will determine whether you're moving toward or away from your goal. But if you aren't happy with what you have to do to get there, you probably won't be happy when you get there, if you can even make it in the first place. So your goals should really align with what you want to do today and the type of person you want to be, not what you want to have tomorrow. So figure out who you want to be and then be that person today. Do the things today that move you toward your goals if they make you feel fulfilled and if they help you become the person you want to be. Focus on the systems and the journey and not the finish line. This is actually really similar to one of the best pieces of advice that Scott Adams ever wrote, to focus on the systems, not the goals. So here's actually a super long quote from How to Fail at Almost Everything and Still Win Big. Quote, "A goal is a specific objective that you either achieve or don't sometime in the future. A system is something you do on a regular basis that increases your odds of happiness in the long run. If you do something every day, it's a system. If you're waiting to achieve it someday in the future, it's a goal. If you achieve your goal, you celebrate and feel terrific, but only until you realize that you just lost the thing that gave you purpose and direction. Your options are to feel empty and useless, perhaps enjoying the spoils of your success until they bore you, or set new goals and re-enter the cycle of permanent pre-success failure. All I'm suggesting is that thinking of goals and systems as very different concepts has power. Goal-oriented people exist in a state of continuous pre-success failure at best and permanent failure at worst if things never work out. Systems people succeed every time they apply their systems, in the sense that they did what they intended to do. The goals people are fighting the feeling of discouragement at each turn. The systems people are feeling good every time they apply their system. That's a big difference in terms of maintaining your personal energy in the right direction." End quote. So my advice here is really, I think it's useful to have both. There's a balance. So maybe a hybrid of the two. Like in my case, I like setting achievable goals that help me develop systems. When I set a goal, it's usually a goal to be and not a goal to have something. A personal example recently is actually how I designed my career. I wanted to be a full-time artist, but I also want to be a great dad. So I set my own schedule and I put my kids in bed every night. I've set really clear boundaries on when I operate, and I don't stray from that schedule because the systems I put in place let me be the kind of person I want to be at every turn. Now, this approach helps me live a very fulfilling life by my own standards. And, sometimes I still set a goal to have a thing, and there's a very specific piece of technology that I'm chasing after right now. So I've started a savings account just for that thing. But most of my life really revolves around systems, and they're systems that I can adjust as it becomes necessary. But those systems let me win every day because the journey is so damned awesome. I mean, it really is. So to sum it all up, setting huge goals can be useful, but it can also set you up or a feeling of permanent failure. The most useful piece of advice from the gurus on this topic is to simply operate where there isn't much competition. It's easier and more fun there. But a more useful approach to goal setting is to really focus on the type of person you want to be, the habits that you want to develop, and just how you want to spend your time, and develop systems so that you can win every day. And set goals realizing that they don't change your future, they change your present. So you might as well focus on the journey and not the destination. All of that being said, what's one goal that you're working toward that aligns with who you want to be instead of what you want to have? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button, subscribed, and did all of that fun stuff that lets me know you want to see more content like this. So until next time, keep drawing, painting, writing, singing, or dancing your heart out, and we'll talk soon.